Hey, what's up good people? Welcome to another episode of Pwned. It is the year 2020. Yes, the first video of the new year. And new year also means new gear, new angle, new everything. I've got a little mic here, so I think the audio quality should be drastically improved. I also have my DJI Osmo Pocket set up nicely here so that I could film from my desk, not like in that corner over there where everything's just so cramped. And also I got a very nice light in the back, and this light was actually bought by my girlfriend, so thank you, Emma. She just wanted to change my desk light, and for some reason it just works. It works as a awesome, I guess, light for YouTube filming. And then I've also picked up some other tips in terms of lighting your background and stuff, so you could see the light in the back, you know. So I think that this setup is going to be pretty good compared to what was ever done in the past. I mean, hopefully. Anyway, let's get to the topic of today's video. I have a box here. I don't know if you guys have noticed this little box here. This is a box that was handed to me from Enoch, and it has the Mac-10 in it. So I put this box here because I wanted to open up this thing and show you guys what's in it. There is some instructions here, like a manual. I'm gonna put this on the table, but what really is interesting is the fact that in this box is a pair of safety goggles or safety glasses. I've got some spare darts, and if you guys notice, these are all like half-length darts. And last but not least, we have this plastic briefcase thing. So now this cardboard box goes away, and this plastic thing here, solid plastic, it's got two clasps, and this is how the Mac-10 is packaged. So I'm gonna try to do this without anything dropping. There we go. It's got foam and everything, and look at that, it's pick and pluck, and the whole thing is presented in such a way. It is awesome, man. So this is the Mac-10 here, and this thing over here is the mag that comes with it. And also you got some darts shoved in here, and you got some USB charging cables here. I'm gonna be taking this out of the box so that I could, you know, kind of explain a little bit more to you guys. So everyone, this is the blaster in question, and the name of the blaster that is written here is the QK4WD Ingram Mac-10, and it also says full automatic Nerf launcher. Now this is the name that is printed on the blaster, but if we take a look at the manual says it is the CuteKeen 4-wheel drive mini submachine gun launcher, and that's a super long name. So I'm just gonna stick to the Ingram Mac-10 because it's one, way cooler, and two, way shorter and so much easier to say. So the Ingram Mac-10. Now I'm gonna say that this instruction manual is actually quite detailed. It tells you things like how to load the mag, what you should do to turn it on, what you should do when you want to charge it, what are the voltages that you should be taking note of, etc. So this is actually quite handy. Of course, I won't bore you guys with this stuff. It's really just for you to take a look at. But here is the Mac-10, and you guys will notice that there are two voltmeter reading devices here, or whatever these are called, and you have a on-off switch here. This is a toggle switch, and then we have a rotary switch here, and this basically is the PWM, and you basically use this knob to adjust the ROF. And you can see this thing over here, that's the dart pusher, and like the name says, 4WD, it's got 4 flywheels, so it's a 2-stage flywheel setup. And it's really interesting because these flywheels are really small, and they're packed really close to each other. It's literally just two like that. So in order to turn the blaster on, you gotta first turn on this toggle switch here, and then you get some reading here, and then you gotta turn on this PWM, and then this is turned on. So this is really interesting because you could just have the PWM completely turned off, and then this switch is on, and this basically toggles the flywheel. So, and you notice that the pusher didn't even move at all. So if I turn off this switch and I turn up the PWM, flywheels don't move, but the pusher does. And initially I assumed that everything was running on the same battery, but when I realized that you actually need to charge 2 different ports, then basically that tells me it's just a single switch system here to trigger the flywheels as well as the pusher itself. So enough about the blaster for now. I want to show you guys the magazine. And the mag that comes with it is quite an intricately designed mag. Now the thing is, this is completely proprietary. You cannot use any other mags with this blaster. It is just this particular mag. And I don't know if you can purchase more separately. And much like the blaster, this mag is 3D printed as well, but it does have some like rubber bands or like a rubber pulley system, kind of. And the basic function of it is just that it is a mag. It functions the same way as every other mag does. But the notch is pretty low, and you have a catch slot here that will hold on to that mag lever like that. So quite simple, and I'm going to give you guys a quick firing demonstration to show you guys how it works. before I share with you my thoughts about some of the nuances of this blaster. So here we go. Gonna grab some half-length darts, and yes, you guys, you don't have to worry, these hold half-length darts. I tried it with all of the Stephans that I had lying around, and yep, no problem whatsoever. So as I'm gonna be loading the darts in, I want to tell you guys that this has a particular orientation. You'll see a notch here. You got to make sure that you load darts facing this way. Now it's kind of hard for you to push it down and then load darts from the back, so you got to load darts from the front, and it's really like a gate. So that's something that's very interesting. I will be just loading probably 10 darts because I don't want to, maybe I should just load all. Now on one side of the mag, you'll see this whole rubber band just stretched up all the way, and it's very interesting because it's an actual pulley system. Like right at the bottom here is a metal wheel, and if you look in there, you'll actually see the whole intricate pulley system, which is interesting for a mag design. I don't know why CuteKeen decided that they would use a pulley system and not the standard spring system. I'm sure they have their reasons. Now that the mag is totally loaded up, I'm just gonna put it into the blaster like so. And now we gotta turn on the flywheel switch as well as the PWM knob, and I kind of like to put it at about the 2 o'clock mark. And at this point of time, I'm getting voltage readings of 8.47 volts for the flywheels, and I'm getting about 6.27 and 6.45 is fluctuating for the PWM. This basically is your ROF, and I like this particular ROF. I'll be firing off a few darts just to show you guys the speed of this thing, which is not too bad. But now I'm gonna go full speed so that you guys can see how fast this thing runs when it's about 8.32 volts here. So here we go. I'm probably gonna empty the mag, so yeah. That's quite fast, look. So the entire mag is emptied. You guys notice there are no jams at all. So this thing actually performs pretty well. Now that the firing demonstration is out of the way, I'm going to share with you guys what I thought about this during my experience. So first of all, I find it interesting that they are using some really small motors in there. I don't know what these are, but they sound like Tamiya car motors, like the Hyperdash motors, and it generates a smell. That smell really is just like it's really nostalgic. I can't describe exactly what that smell is, but it's quite nostalgic, and it really reminds me of Hyperdash motors, so that really could be it. The flywheels are also very interesting flywheels. I guess they are kind of like a textured plastic ABS of some sort. It's not like Plastidip or anything, you know, so it's quite proprietary. I think the whole entire system seems to be quite proprietary. The one thing that I'm not used to and I feel funny about is the fact that you need to have 2 different switches. And the thing is, in the manual it says that if any of the voltage readings drop below 7.5 volts, you want to have to charge it up, and so there's actually 2 charging ports. So this port over here is to charge a battery that goes to the flywheels, and this port charges the battery that goes to the pusher motor. And I found that a bit interesting. Maybe not the best in terms of usability, not so practical, but that also means, like I said in the earlier part of the video, that there are 2 batteries in there and there's 2 separate circuits. It does sound like it's 2 clicks. You guys can hear that? 2 clicks. So let's just see, what does the first click do? Okay, so the first click activates the flywheels. I'm sorry, this is the first time I'm trying this out, guys. And the second click probably works the pusher. Yeah. So there is a way for you to kind of rev up the flywheels first before activating the pusher motor. I guess I'm gonna have to half depress this trigger and then full depress it. So yeah, that's right. Because I'm just thinking, like, what is my usual user experience? Just, you know, just a single pull to activate both. So that's quite interesting. And the smell is coming up again. Like, it's a really distinct smell. That's really what I can say. It's a really distinct smell. Now, the next thing that I found that went against my usual experience of Nerf blasters is the fact that this mag release lever requires you to pull it back to disengage the tab before you take out the mag. So I'm so used to pushing mag release levers forward, or at least having a switch somewhere near the trigger, but this requires me to kind of slide my thumb in there and push upward to disengage it before I can take out the mag. It's not difficult, not at all by any means, but it's just a different kind of user experience, you know. It's just a different kind of motion altogether after being so used to pushing and grabbing, but this requires you to slide upwards and do that. But basically, there isn't much negatives that I have to say about this thing. It is a 3D printed blaster, which is quite cool. It's a really small form factor. There's something just so unique about this. That is this pusher itself. It's not really a traditional pusher per se. It kind of just hammers darts. Like, look. It just hammers darts toward the flywheels. I've never actually tried this, so I'm gonna try it for the first time now with you guys. So let's see how this thing goes. I'm gonna load this with 2 darts and then basically try to manually hammer it and see how far the dart moves into the whole flywheel system. So as I load the mag in, now the hammer is on top of the dart. And when I pull it back, yeah, it basically just pushes the dart. Like, it, see that? Oh yeah, so see now the dart, you can see the dart tip there. That's so interesting. The dart tip is now wedged right in between the flywheels there, which is quite interesting. I never realized this. Oh, now I've just... Great. I've successfully jammed up the blaster. What should I do in this situation? I can't use my pinky to... No way. What? Okay, well, clearly CuteKeen did not design this for people to do that, so it's my fault. I'm gonna get a screwdriver to push it backwards now. So I gotta disengage this pusher, and then screwdriver pushes the dart back into the mag, and I think that's good. So yep, okay, so that's interesting. I guess now looking at this, I guess this window is actually for you to clear any dart jams, but there are some screws sticking up, and that basically just blocks your finger. It's quite irritating. It scratches your finger if you want to access that whole area there. But all in all, guys, I mean, it's a pretty blockish design. The grip is not uncomfortable. It is very blockish, I gotta say. It's very blockish. The whole thing is like just a square with some minimal contouring here on the back, but you know, it's not uncomfortable at all. All in all, I think it's a pretty cool product to have. It's quite a novelty item in my opinion. Like, it's a 3D printed Mac-10 Uzi kind of blaster, and it fires off short darts or half-length darts. I mean, personally, you know, I wish that they would make one that takes full-sized mags and full-sized darts, but that's just me, you know. Like, I'm someone that just prefers full-length darts, or at least a dual dart system, you know. But this is just proprietary. The mag is proprietary as well. The darts, no, which is a good thing. You could use any half-length darts, but the entire user experience of the system is quite interesting. You got to make sure that you have 2 switches turned on, then everything will work. So the next thing that I want to talk about is the PWM. So at a certain voltage, I think it doesn't give enough torque, so this doesn't work. Like, now I'm having it at about 5 volts if I can. So it's 4.91, 4.86, 5.93. It fluctuates a lot. So that's the most it could do. It's not enough voltage or current to kind of drive the whole system. If I turn it up a little bit, yeah, that's it. And then I'm gonna slowly so just at about 3 or 4 volts is when this thing is not gonna function very well. Oh, and yeah, before I end off the video, I realized that I didn't tell you guys about the charging thing. So it comes with this USB charger like that. It's just like wait, let me just show you guys. So you plug this end here into the blaster like that. Just make sure that the orientation is correct. So it goes in like that, and then you plug this end to any standard USB socket that you have. This thing here says the input is 5 volts direct current, 1000 milliamperes, and the output is 7.4 volts direct and 400 amperes as an output. But the cool thing is, because it has 2 batteries, they actually provide 2 chargers, so you could charge both at the same time, which is quite cool. But they do share in the instructions that you're supposed to connect everything first before you actually turn on the power. The indicator will flash red when it's charging, and when it's done charging, it'll turn green. So I don't think it's a smart charging system. So once it turns green, they recommend that you disconnect it as soon as possible, in case, you know, that you might overcharge it or something. But basically that is it. And at this point of time, I want to give a huge shout out to Enoch. Once again, Enoch you always supplying me with all these cool stuff. I actually like it quite a lot. This Mac-10 is a really small form factor. It's quite cute to look at. It's not menacing at all, but the performance is not bad. Now, this thing doesn't really shoot darts like lasers, you know, but the speed and the ROF is quite crazy. Like if you're going for a spray and pray kind of tactic, this is it, man. I mean, I wish there were more mags in this thing, but I guess, you know, it comes with one, and I'm really hoping that CuteKeen sells more of these, so you could load up and have a lot of these, just shove it in there, just keep swapping mags and just firing away. I see a lot of potential in this particular system. I see nerfers or enthusiasts basically overvolting this thing, and of course trying to push ways and means to improve the performance of this thing, because right now it's performing actually above average in my opinion. It's not mediocre, it's not bad by any means, but it's not the best or hardest hitting blaster. It does have a cool ROF adjuster function, which I really like a lot. So this, once again everyone, is by CuteKeen. CuteKeen. I mean, the company name is spelled cute, like C-U-T-E, but the short form is QK, like CuteKeen, QK. QK 4-wheel drive Ingram Mac-10, full automatic Nerf launcher, completely 3D printed in the style of an Uzi, 2 switches, proprietary mag, comes with a bunch of darts, and comes with 2 chargers. That is it. And as I end off this video, everyone, I know I promised you guys my, what do I call it, my thoughts on Z-Town Asia, but I really haven't edited that video at all. I really apologize. I really haven't had the time to sit down and edit that video, and my entire plan is to kind of overlay footage of what I managed to get on GoPros of the event itself, but really I just need time. So I do apologize. It's probably going to take a while. I know that Z-Town is like, what, 2 months ago, more than 2 months ago in fact, but this popped up and it's pretty awesome, and I had a good time playing with this thing. So yeah, I decided, you know what, just sit down here, try this whole new setup out, and I think this is actually going to work quite well. And while I'm at it, just show this off to you guys, you know, because I got this from Enoch. So once again, Enoch, thank you. This is quite awesome. Yeah, and we've come to the end of this video. Thank you so much for sticking all the way throughout. As usual, I'll put any links in the description box down below. Yes, there is a link if you're interested in purchasing one of these for yourself. It's quite fun. I don't know the pricing, guys. I don't know the pricing because Enoch was the one that handed this to me, but I will say that it's quite a cool little blaster to have, especially if you are a collector. It's something that you really can consider having in your collection. Until the next video, everyone, drills pay the bills and teamwork makes the dream work. Peace.